Hello retro gamers. A few weeks ago we shared an unboxing video for the Miyoo Mini Plus. After spending some time focusing on various tutorials, today it's finally time for a review of this console. I'll start with two clarifications. Firstly, unlike other reviews, this one won't be based on the console stock version but rather on Onion OS. Secondly, since I received it, it has become the console I use most frequently. So, today we'll discuss the Miyoo Mini Plus. The device is currently available on AliExpress, priced between $50 and $60, with shipping included if you opt for the choice variants. This is also the option I recommend. Depending on the seller, the device can be purchased with a microSD card preloaded with games. However, I personally suggest buying the base version and acquiring a separate card to load games of your choice. It's worth mentioning that the price fluctuates quite a lot due to stock availability. This device's creators don't have the same production capacity as companies like Ambernic. I bought the console in two variants. I chose the grey version because it resembles the DMG-01, the original Game Boy, and the black version for its colorful buttons reminiscent of Super Nintendo's controllers. Which version do you prefer and why? Feel free to let us know in the comments. Let's begin the review with a brief overview of its hardware specifications. The device features a dual-core ARM Cortex-A7 processor clocked at 1.2 GHz, along with 128 MB of RAM, 3.5-inch laminated IPS display with a resolution of 6040 by 480 and a 4:3 aspect ratio. Connectivity options include Wi-Fi and Bluetooth, and it is powered by a 3000 mAh battery which is conveniently rechargeable via USB-C. The Miyoo Mini Plus was introduced as a larger version of the original Miyoo Mini. Apart from the increased size and the addition of Bluetooth and Wi-Fi, the hardware remains identical. In fact, if you were to remove the SD card from the Miyoo Mini Plus and insert it into the original Mini, everything would work seamlessly. Since we've mentioned the external dimensions, let's talk about its physical build. The console has a sturdy construction and it feels quite comfortably in our hands. Compared to other consoles, it makes very little noise when shaken. At the top we have status LEDs and the power button. On the left side you'll find the volume buttons. The right side is clean with no additional features, while the bottom side houses a 3.5mm headphone jack, the microSD slot and the charging port. On the back there's an easily removable battery cover and 4 shoulder buttons with a short responsive travel that feels satisfying to press. The front side features the IPS display, known for its vibrant colors and wide viewing angles. You'll also notice the speaker, positioned Game Boy style in the bottom right corner, which can sometimes be accidentally covered during use, muffling the sound. And of course the D-pad, the function button, start and select, as well as A, B, X and Y buttons. All the buttons feel good, slightly different from those on the Anbernic RG35XX 2024, they somehow give the impression of being more precise, probably because the RG35XX buttons are a bit softer. Just to clarify, the Miyoo Mini Plus buttons aren't hard, they just feel a bit snappier. When it comes to the D-pad, it passes the contra test with flying colors, so if you press down and move left or right, you're able to move the character without much effort, but also not too easily. Another thing I like is that the function button doesn't stick out too much. This reduces the chances of accidental presses while holding the console in that area, for various reasons. Usually, when we look at a new device, we also take a glance at the main menu. Here, Onion OS isn't very different from the others. There is Settings, a menu with some standard options, very similar to the stock software, a category for recently played games and apps, one for favorites, and one where we can find all the games either manually or using the search feature. And one for apps. Onion OS was designed to be user-friendly, but it also offers quite advanced customization options for those who want to explore them. Under the Apps menu there's a package manager that allows you, among other things, to select available cores and many other applications such as the activity tracker showcased earlier, and an advanced menu which acts as an alternative game launcher. or a tool for updating Garlic OS directly from the console. If we take a moment to revisit the hardware specifications, many might say that it doesn't stand out too much in this aspect. However, the device performs exceptionally well at what it was designed to do. Even without a dedicated GPU to rely on, it runs all systems up to PlayStation 1 smoothly. So let's go through the systems emulated by the Miyoo Mini Plus. As usual, we won't cover all of them to avoid going into too much detail, just the most important ones for the majority of today's retro gamers. Let's start with the original Game Boy where, using Onion OS, emulation maintains the aspect ratio and it's using a color palette that attempts to emulate the original green tone. The color palette can be changed by pressing R2 and L2. Let's take a quick look at Game Boy Color. Followed by testing a few Game Boy Advanced games. Now we'll move on to fixed devices, starting with the Nintendo Entertainment System. We'll also open a few games on the Super Nintendo. Then, crossing to the other side of the barricade in the console wars of the 80s and 90s, we'll take a look at Sega Genesis, or Mega Drive as it was named here in Europe. We'll launch a few MAME games. TurboGrafx games also run without any issues. And finally, we've reached PlayStation 1, where old games also run exceptionally well, many of them even with enhanced resolution on. Here, a quick remark. This is the driver tutorial, a true test of patience and skill. That intro is infamous for being punishingly tough, even for experienced gamers. The pressure to complete all the required moves in such a short time frame has haunted many players over the years. It's almost like a rite of passage in gaming history. Here you can only see a recording, because it's quite difficult to do while looking directly at the device. If you also try to do this in an awkward position while recording, it becomes nearly impossible. I dare you try this tutorial yourselves and let us know how it went. It's a challenge worth revisiting, especially for nostalgic gamers. Good luck and don't forget to share your experience. As you've seen, Onion OS supports many more consoles for emulation, but we'll stop here for today. Most likely in the future we'll upload shorts showcasing some of them. If you'd like to see how it performs with a specific system or game, feel free to comment and I'll try to test it out. Now let's start the pros and cons section with what the Mini Plus does well. Good buttons, responsive and satisfying to use, all games up to and including PS1 run smoothly, Wi-Fi, which is increasingly becoming an important feature as it enables access to RetroArch achievements, bringing a new dimension to all games, Bluetooth for added connectivity, build quality, as it's a joy to see and use this console, and last but not least, the affordable price with great value for the features offered. For cons we have the lack of video output, AV or HDMI. While it's a portable device, it would be nice to have the option to use it with a TV without needing another one. Just to add something more here, if we want to compare it to RG35XX devices, we could say that the absence of a usable GPU, which would allow us to run a few extra systems, might be a drawback. However, as mentioned earlier, the Miyoo Mini Plus was designed to run systems up to PS1 and it does that very well. Before wrapping up, let's briefly discuss transport cases for this device. I don't usually focus on this, but since I came across the versions, I'd like to present them. The first option is a fairly generic design with storage space held by an elastic band on one side and the device secured by another elastic band on the other side. The second option is also my favorite. In addition to having two storage compartments, one of which features a zipper, it also includes a sort of screen protector that separates them from the device. The device itself has a perfectly sculpted slot where it stays securely in place without moving, and when it comes to removing it, there's a designated space that makes it very easy to lift out. Both options get the job done, however, I personally prefer the second one, even if it's slightly more expensive. As mentioned earlier, the Miyoo Mini Plus has quickly become my favorite portable device, thanks to a combination of factors such as size, screen, buttons, and of course Onion OS. For those seeking a budget-friendly handheld capable of running games up to and including PS1 and small enough to fit in your pocket, the Miyoo Mini Plus is definitely worth considering. In the future, I'll try to come back with a tutorial for installing Onion OS if necessary, but until then, that's all for today, so we wish you happy retro gaming!